Okay, we are on air.
Okay.
Okay, Kitana, take the lead.
Okay. So should I like open with my title? I don't really know how.
Yes, just start like the way you're gonna start your speech.
Okay. So think about your everyday life. What do you do? Do you watch television? Do you walk to class and listen to music? Do you hear a new song and just wonder the artistry that went into it? Who wrote it? Who composed the music behind it? Do you watch movies? Do you read? Now think about your life without any of those things. And that's what life would be like if we didn't have art. So there are actually 1.3 million schools, elementary schools across the United States that have completely cut music programs alone from their curriculum. And that is just music. That doesn't include art because these are things that aren't seen as necessary when budget cuts are being made. I have personally spent a lot of time involved in music, art, and theater programs. And I've seen the change that they can cause in people and just the way that they can make your life more positive. Theater has always been appreciated by different societies throughout history, but there is still a lot of debate in our society and a lot of others about whether or not it's really important to us educationally.
Mm-hmm.
So today I'm going to talk about the benefits that theater has on stress levels, life skills, and the entertainment industry as a whole. So the first thing I want to discuss is the way that theater can help you with stress. So there have been quite a few studies done that range from studies on sculpting to painting to singing to dancing, and they all study the way that these different forms of artistic expression can affect your cortisol levels, which is an indicator that they use that is directly correlated to your stress level. And the studies tend to show that about 75% of the people tested end up having lower cortisol levels after only 45 minutes. So there have been significant studies that have shown that being involved in an artistic outlet can lower your stress levels. And theater alone offers so many different outlets. There's painting, singing, dancing, acting, building, and it's just a great way to lower your stress. So while lowered stress levels are incredibly beneficial, especially to a lot of college students, some people don't believe that that alone is enough reason to fund these art programs, but you can also learn a lot of valuable life skills through these. So when you get a script and you're reading your lines, you learn a lot more than just who your character is and why they contribute to that storyline. Theater can teach you to work with a team in a much larger setting because you have to bring the entire production together from, people that just act, people that just dance, the people building everything. You all have to pull it together and really work as one really large unit. You also learn a lot about body language while you're developing your characters. You learn how to read people a lot better. You learn how to convey how you're feeling a lot better. And you develop a lot of confidence in what you're saying and the way you're portraying things. And it really develops a lot more confidence once you see everything come together and you see what you can really create. You also develop a lot of really good public speaking skills because you get used to being up there in front of everyone, saying all these lines, even though sometimes you might not be sure. You just have to go with it and believe in yourself. So, it also, one more thing that's super important is the accountability. You really have to be accountable when you're in a situation like that, because if you don't show up, if you don't learn your lines, you're going to drag everybody else down in these things that they've worked so hard for. So it teaches you a lot of these really good life skills that are just basic things that some people aren't exposed to as much. So being exposed to theater and the fine arts in general really can definitely benefit you as an individual, but it can also benefit entire communities through entertainment. So just some people that started out in theater, some of which people don't commonly know. Lea Michele, which if you know who she is, you probably know she started out in theater. She's very well known for being on Glee. And she actually started out in Broadway when she was 9 years old. And then Hugh Jackman, which a lot of people don't know from theater, they know him as Wolverine. He started out in the musical Oklahoma and just kind of went on from there. Someone a little more local from Nelsonville, Sarah Jessica Parker, she didn't jump straight to the big screen. She wasn't just on Sex and the City immediately. She got her big break actually doing a revival of the musical Annie on Broadway. So, even if being on that stage or working backstage didn't affect you directly, it may have impacted someone that you look up to. So theater and the fine arts have probably made an impact on your life, whether you knew it or not. Maybe you never set foot on a stage, maybe you never even thought about it, but there's a chance that your favorite actor, singer, or author has. Theater may not seem like it's very important to our lives, but it can change a lot more than people think. It can change the way you see yourself. It can change the way you see everyone else. And I and many other people have the hope that one day everyone will see the importance the arts have in our lives from an early age.
Okay, wonderful.
Thank you.
Great job. And by the way, we all noticed that dog, and it was so cute. Okay.
The beast.
Okay. Next, as I said, did I say Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go, Alex.
Okay. Think about something everyone needs in the winter. Hats. Hats are literally keep you warm, keep the warmth from leaving your body, and especially being in Ohio, nobody loves to be cold like in these seasons. Love Your Melon is a brand that I think everyone should know about. My name is Alex Picaro, and I'm here today to talk to you about the company Love Your Melon and all the good that they do. First of all, Love Your Melon was founded 5 years ago in an entrepreneurship class, literally like this class, by two boys who were juniors. So I'm a junior, so literally my age, named Zach and Brian at the University of St. Thomas. The University of St. Thomas is in St. Paul, Minnesota. Zach and Brian were students just like us, trying to figure out a job that they would be passionate about, but also that would like give back and help other people in need. That's really why I love this company. And also just to reference, here's a Love Your Melon hat, so you guys have something to like think about as I'm talking. I have a few, but I just want to show you an example of one. They're all like hand stitched and everything. So Zach and Brian just decided they wanted to start a company that was meaningful and could have a positive impact like on society. The meaning behind Love Your Melon was to improve the lives of children battling cancer. So the basic idea of the company was to put a hat on every kid battling cancer and also to donate research money to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation. Today, Love Your Melon has given over $4.7 million to pediatric research centers and over almost 150,000 hats to kids battling cancer. The way it works is that 50% of the net profit from Love Your Melon goes towards the purchases and then also goes towards like the funding. These hats are not only comfortable in general, neutral, and stylish, but they also do so much good in helping kids and donating to the pediatric centers. And every hat that you purchase, you're also giving one to a kid. I chose this topic because the entire brand was started by college students, just like us, just like in a class, and it's turned into something so big today, and that's made literally millions of dollars for cancer research, which is super important to me. Like, I am hoping to choose a profession that is in cancer research somehow, and I love that like what they're doing. It's like with fashion and like branding and sales and marketing, but they're literally like helping kids and helping the research and like funding for cancer. I've done a lot of research on this topic solely just because it interests me. Mm-hmm. And I personally, I think I have like 4 hats now, but I'm interested in buying more. And I've talked about this with numerous people because I feel like it should be known by everyone. I want to point out the obvious benefit of purchasing a hat, and that would be supporting kids across America who are literally fighting for their lives. Cancer touches so many families, so many homes, and like this, I know it's a little thing, and buying a hat for yourself doesn't feel like you're really helping other people, but literally half the money that you're spending is going towards them. And if you're going to spend the money on yourself, I feel like giving back is just so awesome. Second, Love Your Melon hasn't really become popular here at Ohio University. Yeah, I'm from Chicago, actually, so where I'm from, it's super popular. Everyone owns them that I know. Everybody wants more. They're always coming out with new designs, new colors. They're also starting to go into like scarves and mittens and stuff. They're basically just hats, but they have other things too. So even if you buy like a scarf and like the kid will still get a hat, and that money will still be going towards cancer research. So if you're like a trendsetter and you love having cute things before other people do, you could be the one to start the trend here at Ohio University. I live in a sorority house, and me having them alone has already like sparked like 4 other girls to order them online, which I think is awesome. And like I said earlier, these winters in Ohio are brutal. I mean, not as bad as Chicago, but they're still pretty bad. So it's nice to have a hat. They're not only fashionably functional, but they're also seasonally functional. They've expanded all their colors and designs, like I said, and they talk about on their website, if you ever get the chance to visit, how they're like asking people who like have like design ideas and stuff. People have like looked into internships there, and like they are like looking for. So if you're ever looking for a job, they do like, if you're looking for their fashion, you can do that. If you're going more towards marketing or finance, doing stuff like that too. Lastly, I chose to inform you guys about this topic because I really think companies that are like not only trying to for themselves, but also trying to help those in need and help important, and they deserve more. My goal from the speech was to inform more students about this topic in general. Because not only buying a hat for yourself, you're also buying one for a kid that's sick, which I think is awesome. Like, these kids love these hats. They go to local hospitals here in Ohio. They do them all over the world, and they're expanding to more and more hospitals the more money they get. So overall, I think Love Your Melon company has exceeded my expectations, and I'm sure yours if you look more into the company. It was started by people just like us, so it gives me hope that it'll happen more and more for other people. And I hope you've taken something away from this, and I encourage you to look into their company.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for that. Josh?
Oh, all righty. I apologize in advance.
Why? Don't. You're going to be good.
All righty. Okay. Okay. So imagine a world with no innovations or striving for betterment. Would you have a cell phone or any electronic device for that matter? Or would you have the desire to take risk and expand your horizons? Would there be freedom of selection from varieties? Would there be enough jobs to go around? This would be a world where nothing existed but primitive technologies. And all of these developments and possessions are a direct result from our innate entrepreneurship as humans. And an entrepreneur can be defined as a person who organizes and manages any enterprise. And it's important to look closely at the definition, because if you analyze it and unfold the definition, we all as humans are entrepreneurs, as we all take risk within our own enterprises, whether that be selecting a college from away from everything you became comfortable with growing up, or selecting a major as a young, indecisive teen that will strongly dictate your future. It's also important to note that as young individuals who have yet to begin our careers, we have experienced a minuscule amount of risk taking compared to what the remaining 3/4 of our lives will require. So a little bit about my entrepreneurship experience. During my sophomore year of college, I was in need of establishing a source of income, and there were not many opportunities around Athens, Ohio, besides minimum wage jobs, as this is the poorest county in Ohio. So I came up with the idea to start a pressure washing and window cleaning business in the area. And since starting that business my sophomore year, I have provided service to over 180 customers in the area and have 21 biweekly accounts on Court Street and Stimson Avenue. My company name is Window Relief LLC and has received a accredited A rating by the Better Business Bureau, been on the Chamber of Commerce, and really has been making an impact. So that's my relationship with entrepreneurship. And a little bit more history about entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is a term that was recently popularized in the 19th and 20th century, but it has been an essential part of America since its conception. Entrepreneurship dates back to early settlers engaging in trade and barter with Native Americans, which created mutual benefits at the start. And acceleration of entrepreneurship took place during the period following the Civil War, and as a result, experienced rapid growth with communication and transportation industries, along with mining and agricultural advancements. And by the 19th century, entrepreneurs began to become publicly idolized and considered amongst the elite. And during this time, many entrepreneurs pursued industries such as railroad, banking, and land. In recent years, entrepreneurs have made a lot of impacts and have enhanced the lives of the average person substantially with the creation of advancements in electronics such as cell phones, computers, alternative energies, advanced communication networks, and a vast amount of other once unimaginable products I'm sure many of you use in your day-to-day lives. And famous entrepreneurs include Oprah Winfrey, Thomas Edison, Benjamin Franklin, Henry Ford, Steve Jobs, Andrew Carnegie. I'm sure you guys are all aware of some of those entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurship has provided us, once again, with every product we use in our day-to-day lives. And going forward, it's exciting to realize that the sky is the limit. So more advancements are to come. And entrepreneurs have always been pushing the status quo for the next level. Self-driving cars, computer glasses, virtual reality, video streaming, and all those were once unfathomable, and now they're in our hands. And so going back to entrepreneurship within each of our individual selves, in relating that to innovators and entrepreneurs in the past, that they all made sacrifices, and that's something we're going to be doing going forward. And life is about making sacrifices and taking risks to get where you want to reach. Without sacrifices, complacency begins to form, and individuals do not amount to their true potential. So yeah, summarizing some of the main points, entrepreneurship has been a crucial part of America since conception, and also it's a part of our ability to go forward as humans, and everybody should look for opportunities to take risk and to use their entrepreneurial self. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Amy?
Okay, so hello everyone, my name is Jamie Sparandera. Today I'm here to ask you to think about if you are truly yourself online, and you might use your own picture or your own name, but does your profile really reflect your true self? So if you answered yes to these questions, are you sure about your peers online? Self-disclosure online is a really sticky subject. For some, the world of the internet allows us to present our true selves the way that we might not be able to in real life. So others use the internet to create alter egos and fictional characters that do not actually exist. And finally, we use the protection of a phone or computer screen to hide behind to avoid any real face-to-face interactions and confrontations. Our generation was brought up on social media. I can remember creating my screen name for AOL's instant messaging feature when I was like 12 years old. We may consider ourselves experts on the internet, but do we really understand the conscious or subconscious way in which we portray ourselves online? This idea really intrigues me. The idea of someone being one person online and a completely different person in real life is truly fascinating and only made possible with social media. I've been learning exclusively about this topic for a couple of weeks now and have my own personal experiences with self-disclosure on social media. There are many different ways in one can choose to use social media to portray themselves online, whether it's deceitfully or not. Today, I'm here to discuss self-disclosure on social media, along with why and how it occurs. In a 2013 study by two professors at Kent State University, Alan Hollenbaugh and Marcia Everett, on the effects of anonymity and self-disclosure in blogs, it states, specifically, the anonymity afforded by the internet has been found to result in decreasing inhibitions and increasing self-disclosures, a condition known as the online disinhibition effect. A very common factor that affects disclosure online is called dissociative anonymity. So dissociative anonymity is a sort of compartmentalization of the self. And in a 2004 publication titled The Online Disinhibition Effect by John Suler, a professor of psychology at Rider University, he states, when people have the opportunity to separate their actions online from their in-person lifestyle and identity, they feel less vulnerable and about self-disclosing and acting out. So to put this in simpler terms, there's a distinct separation of one's online and offline identity. And this isn't to be confused with creating a persona online that's not true to one's belief and lifestyle, which we're going to discuss later. Dissociative anonymity is basically just a part of you. It's just a part of you that you don't show online. I mean, that you don't show in real life and you only show online. So for example, this could be as simple as someone being a diehard Pittsburgh Steelers fan, but they lived in a community in Ohio where this is not acceptable or supported behavior. They could go online and be a part of a group that openly supports the Steelers, and this is where they could be open about that belief. But being a Steelers fan is definitely true and genuine to that person and just not made up for the internet, but they only disclose this information online. This is a common occurrence on the internet, as an online space is often serves as a safe space for people to express their true selves. This isn't to be confused with the next factor that affects disclosure online, which is called dissociative imagination. So dissociative imagination is vastly different than just showing a partial self. This is completely separate self. So in simpler terms, those who participate in dissociative imagination see the online world as completely unrelated to reality, and the normal rules of the outside world don't apply there. This is often seen in gaming contexts, where users have a completely different persona online, like an online character. And this doesn't always have to be the case. It can be seen elsewhere. But in a 2016 journal called How the Online Disinhibition Effect Affects the Online Video Game Industry by Alex Antero and Ladban Manjezi, it states, in the game world, video game users might not see other players' characters as avatars with their creators behind the screen, but instead as any other person in the game. And essentially, this creation of an online persona becomes your new reality for the time that you're participating in the game online. An example of this is a very famous gamer named Aileen Graef, and she's more commonly known as Anshi Chung, who's her online persona in a game called Second Life. In a 2006 interview with Graef by Danielle Turdeman, she states that she began using the character to explore the social and emotional side of virtual worlds. And for many in the gaming industry, an online persona is just that. It's a place to express a whole new personality that is different than your own. And the next factor of self-disclosure is online invisibility. So invisibility online isn't just anonymity, it's physical invisibility. And what I mean by this is that self-disclosure is often opened up on social media, as the idea of physical anonymity makes confronting and opening up to others much easier. So a big example of this is texting. When you text a friend, your name's going to pop up on their phone and they're going to know who you are, but you are physically invisible to them in that very moment. And this may make it easier to tell your roommate to clean the dishes or to ask to borrow their car than in a face-to-face scenario. In a 2016 study called Texting versus Talking Face-to-Face by Rebecca Geltuin, a survey of 50 teens ranging from 13 to 18 years of age were asked a couple of questions. And one of the scenarios they asked, if you're arguing with a friend, where would you see most of the arguing or fighting occur? And almost half, 47% of the teens said that it would occur over text. So self-disclosure online occurs in a variety of different ways, and the online disinhibition effect truly does affect all social media users in one way or another. Whether one decides to only reveal a small part of their life online or create a completely different persona in an online gaming world, we all choose what we do and do not reveal on the internet. Social media has made it so that conversations don't require face-to-face interaction if you don't want them to, and it can even improve the results of a chat. And there are many different ways and one can choose to use social media to portray themselves online, whether it's deceitfully or not. And my hope is that you are all made more aware of the fact that not everything on the internet is entirely true, and there's much more that meets the eye. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Yes, thank you so much. Okay, you all. That's it for today. You all did wonderful. I'm gonna send the feedbacks and the post once everyone's presentations are done. But wonderful job. That's it.
Thank you.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't.
Okay. Enjoy your day. Stay warm.
Likewise. Thank
Bye.
you.